Greetings, it's your humble author, narrator, and fictional character with the Wartown Times and ZenInTheCar.com, Daniel Louis Crumpton. A lot of you in Wartown know we have a critical election coming up on November 7th for City Council post number 2. And I've always said local elections are far more important than national elections because we don't live in the 10-mile square of the District of Columbia. We live in Wartown. So it's incumbent upon us to get to know who our candidates are who are running for public office. And we were just tickled to death to sit down with L Ellis Carter to get to know him on a personal level and hear from his heart what he intends to bring to City Council once he's elected. So enjoy this very candid interview, get to know the man a little bit, and then whatever you do after you view it, go vote and make sure that you ensure that you have ears and a voice in City Council with L Ellis Carter. Enjoy.
Beep, 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 beep. Live from Wellston, Georgia, it's another episode of the Wartown Times. Be sure to stay up to date by joining the Wartown Times Facebook group on the Facebook.
All right, so I'm very excited to have you on, man, and I want to thank you, what's the L stand for, L Ellis?
L is Le Montreal.
Okay, we'll call you Ellis.
Yeah, much easier. Yes.
One, man, I want to thank you for having the courage to come on with me because, like I told you in our private conversation, if you sit down with me, it's either going to make you or break you. So I praise you for your courage. And the second thing is I obviously want to thank you for your service to this country. You know, I know that you've been in the military for 21 years. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
In the Air Force. So how old were you when you joined the Air Force?
20 years old, leaving our home, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I had no idea what I was gonna get myself into, but it's one of the best decisions I ever made, to be honest with you. I'm happy to this day about that decision. It was scary, I must admit, but my reasons for going in and, those 21 years changed my life. So.
Right. So you were 20 when you joined the Air Force, and I know looking at your record, you've seen some combat.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So anytime I talk to veterans, because I think you and me, we both are sensitive to veterans' concerns, you can always tell there's a look in the eye whenever a veteran who's coming out of the armed services is aware of the weight that carries on it, and I can see that. So here in Warner Robins, we all know it's a military town, Air Force town. So right out of the gates, I'm going to assume that you have a soft spot in your heart for veterans affairs in this community.
Oh, most definitely, yes, sir.
And from what I understand in the House and Home Journal, you just retired from the Air Force. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
It's September?
September 1st, yes. September 1st. Like I say, it's like starting all over. 21 years, you get used to that lifestyle and, you retire now, okay, this is different, you got to get used to the civilian world again. But not a bad thing. It's just, adjusting again.
Right. Now, you're originally from Albany, so the Air Force brought you here to Warner Robins. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
And most of your assignments were in Warner Robins.
Yes, I was fortunate. Yes, this is my home base. That's what I consider. So I got lucky.
Okay, so you're doing this because you have a lot of roots here in Wartown.
Yes.
Okay.
It's home now, be honest with you. Albany, Georgia, where, I'm born and raised, of course, but I call Warner Robins home. So.
Right. Same here. And so you're a father?
Yes.
And a grandfather.
Yes.
That's hard to believe, man, because you look like you're in your 20s. How many kids you got?
I have 4 kids. My daughter, Sequoia. My sons, Jacarius, Ellis Jr., and Jace Carter. And
okay.
My 2 grandkids, I love them, Brandon and, oh, man, I forgot, Simone. So, yes.
You forgot your own grandkids.
No, I'm thinking it's a lot. It seems like it's a lot. But no, definitely.
So you making the decision to run for city council, I mean, you got family here. Is most of your family here? So this is a decision that is because of the fact that you have community and roots here, right?
Yes, sir.
You call me sir. I think my dad's behind me, Ellis.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying. It's one of those things, So.
That's fine. And one of the other things that I noted is you're also an author. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
See, if I would have known that you were an author when we had our first meeting, I would have brought you a signed copy of my book. So that's going to be on the next one. But what's your book?
Too late.
What's your book called, man?
My book is Keisha, The Strength
Okay.
and Resilience of a Single Mother.
Uh,
Quick rundown of it. It's pretty much about a single mother who, she kept faith. She's going through some trials and tribulations, and um, she's had 4 kids that she's raising. It's tough, but keeping her faith, she ended up having a hard time, and it just shows, how God work in mysterious ways. How sometimes things that happen bad to you can sometimes be good. So don't want to give too much. Hopefully people check it out and read it, but got a little twist at the end, and everything kind of comes together. But what kind of inspired me to write the book? I say, I raised by a single mother. I know many single mothers, and sometimes I just feel like the story is not told. Pretty much they're out there, and it's like they're on an island by themselves. So I know as a man, it's like, okay, why would a man write a book about a single mother? It's because I'm influenced by her, and I really, I have a soft spot in my heart for, single parents, period. But, like I said, being raised by a single mother, it hit close to home. So just compiled, different things into the book, and, just first book I published, and that's the reason I chose to do it.
and when did you publish it?
About 2 years ago, yes. About 2 years ago.
And where can people get that book?
It's on Amazon.
Amazon? Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
it's on Amazon. Yeah, published.
Well, I'll make sure that there's links to it here. And so,
Okay.
writers write what they know.
Yes,
hang
that
on.
is true.
So you were raised by a single. Now, I have many titles here in Wartown. I think one of them is the patron saint of single moms. So it's kind of ironic, that I try my best to assist specifically single moms coming out of domestic abuse situations, which is really, really misunderstood in society. It's a difficult thing. So it's ironic that I just found out about that. So it's a tribute to your mom, I would assume.
Not that. Well, it has some things, I kind of dedicated to her, but it's not totally her story,
Mhm.
But I kind of, pick pieces here and there, a little bit from her and other single mothers that I know. So, but
Right.
I just know, my mom, she had 6 sons. She worked multiple jobs at times, man,
Yeah.
and a lot of times, people don't understand that, especially those who have, fortunate enough to have both parents in the household. Nothing wrong with that. But some of us
Yeah.
that was raised, by a single parent, we don't understand when we're young, but when we get older, we appreciate it so much, And my mom, she's like one of my biggest influences. I mentioned that in the book and everything else. So that's why, I have that soft spot in my heart for single mothers. And also, she was a CNA for 30, 40 years. So,
Mhm.
I've seen how she made ends meet so many times, So those things don't go away at all. It sticks with you and help build your character as well. When you see, your mother go out there and work hard for her kids, and it's still like that to this day. You have a lot of them. And kind of go, when I say I really want to hear, the stories what people have, here locally, and can't solve all problems, but I definitely want to be that listening ear and see how we can help.
Yeah, yeah. I'm the baby of 8 from my mother and 11 from both of them total, and I'm right there with you, man. Like I looked at my mom and my dad, but my mom, she was a superhero. She was a titan. Of course, she had dad to help her out, but it's, I don't think that you really realize how much your mother specifically sacrifices until you
Yes,
get older.
yes,
You
that
know,
is true, and that's the reason why I say I wrote the book, and every day you try to make mom proud. Here I am now 42, and it's still things I do. Just try to put a smile on her face. You can never pay her back for everything she's done, but
nah.
at least let her know, hey, her hard work, them sacrifices, they weren't in vain.
Well, sounds like so far it sounds like she raised a good dude, man. So she's raised a good dude.
I would like to say so. Same
Yeah.
thing with my 5 brothers. Everyone doing, we all do different things, but yes, I think I would say the same. Yes.
Well, I mean, I could tell just by your Air Force career, she raised a servant, and
Yes.
you just retiring in September, and you're jumping right in to represent the people of Wartown.
Yes.
It says a
That's
lot.
a lot.
It says a lot, So
Yes.
what's your mom's name? Let me give her a shout out.
Jeanette.
Jeanette. Thanks, Jeanette. You might have gave us another superhero in Wartown, man.
I hope so.
Now, in the House of Home Journal article, one of the other things that caught my eye is that you work at American Veteran Properties. Is that
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that and any other work with veterans.
American the American Veteran Properties, like I say, it's veteran owned. Pretty much one of the biggest things, is the broker. They are located near Savannah, but looking out for our veterans. A lot of times, sadly, there are people out here that try to take advantage of veterans. When it comes time with the VA loans and also with BH and everything. Yeah. So one of the things that American Veteran Properties does is try to get where, because we can relate with military myself. I've used the VA loan to purchase my homes here in Warner Robins as well. So try to get with them, let them know, hey, you have someone that you can really relate to, that want to make sure you get the best possible deal, when you purchase a home, and not try to take advantage of it. Not saying other realtors didn't want to take advantage of veterans, but sadly there have been cases like that. So get them here, kind of break down how, because our occupation is, being a service member is very unique. So how you can purchase a home here, if you happen to PCS, Permanent Changes Duty Station, probably purchase a home there too, but how you could pretty much set yourself up for generational wealth as well, if you do it the right way. So, kind of get them some of the, I guess, secrets on how to best use your VA loan, and it benefit not just them and their family, but generations after. So great company. Enjoy being with, and I love real estate, and I think it is a very important tool, to be used for generational wealth.
Right. And so you're still going to be doing that after you get elected to city council?
Yes, that is the plan. I mean, probably door knocking, asking people if they want to sell their home or buy a home at the same time. Hey, do you have any issues that I need to know, when I go to the council meeting? So 2 for 1, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Hey,
might as well.
Yeah, you're helping people plant roots here,
Yes.
after maybe they retire, and then you're also going to be giving them a voice in city government, which is epic, I think. So, of course, the House to Home Journal, I'm going to keep referencing the House to Home
That's
Journal
fine.
because I think that article was wonderful
Thanks.
that they put out. But there was a part in there that said that you were kind of running out of frustration, and so I'll just reword a little bit. Is ultimately, what is it? After you retired, what is it that made you make the decision to do this, to run for city council?
One of the main reasons, like I said, I've been here since 2002, and it's like downtown is, just using that for example right now. It's like, okay, this downtown look the exact same it did 2002. What's taking so long? You come off the exits, like 144 where Bucky's at, and I see they building a lot of things there, and other areas off 96, and like, okay, certain parts of the city, it's progressing a little bit, but here downtown, it's still nothing. It's, it's dead almost. So after a while, like, what's going on, So it do start leading to frustration, like what they're doing, in the office, No knock to the current administration. I understand sometimes there are red tape, there are things that, it's a process, but I'm like, okay, it shouldn't take 20, 30 plus years to get it downtown and get the residents here in Warner Robins what they deserve, So I have plenty of questions that I want to ask on day one if elected, I know I don't have all the answers now, but I got a legal pad ready. I'm going to be asking a lot of questions to figure out, okay, why is this taking this long? And
Right.
With that being said as well, like, okay, as a resident here, I mean, some stuff you hear about, some stuff you don't, So it's like, okay, what's going on? I think that's another thing. Full transparency with residents here in the city. We should know, okay, this is the reason why we don't have public transportation. This is the reason why downtown isn't where it need to be. This is the reason why we have so many homeless people in the city. What we can. So I think it should be something that's shared with residents here in Warner Robins, and not just closed door and tight lip. Pretty much, that's my opinion. That's my take on it. So,
Right.
If elected, I want to share stuff with my constituents and let them know, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I'm trying to do. Because you're right. You pay taxes, right? You elect officials to, do what they say they were going to do. So that's kind of where I'm at. So it's kind of frustrating. That's where the frustration piece come in, because I'm like, okay, what's going on? What's taking so long? I mean, we're not getting all the information that I feel that us as citizens we should.
Right. And to kind of echo what you're saying, I was brought here in 1994. I think, it's been 1994. And, my dad, of course, I was a teenager, but my dad, he was always very politically astute, paid attention to local government, things like that. But since I have been here in Wartown in 94 until 2 years ago, with Madam Mayor LaRonda Patrick coming in with her administration, transparency was non-existent. You typically didn't even know who, who was your city councilman really. It was a lot of closed door things, and I'm not the only person who is of that opinion. There are many others who've expressed that has been a frustration in Warner Robins is lack of transparency and openness with local government. And one of the reasons I'm really excited about you is, when Madam Mayor came in, she ran on transparency. And everyone knows I'm a huge supporter of hers. I think that she's a human being. She makes mistakes, but I think that her heart is right. And I think that if there is anything that she has said she was going to do, it's in the area of transparency, in opening up the doorway for more transparency, for more people such as myself to be heard with my public servants, and to open the door for candidates such as yourself who will expand and kind of continue that. So, when I'm looking at you, I'm not looking for somebody who has all the answers going in, but I'm looking for what you said, which is the ability to go in, get the answers, and then relay those answers back to me. Does that sound about?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. So, in addition to bringing transparency to the city and making the entire city know more about what you're involved in to kind of push things along with development, which, you're right too. Like, Commercial Circle is the heart of Warner Robins, and it has been way too long. I don't know exactly what the holdup is in revitalizing it, but it is a concern for me. And I know that you're also running on cleaning up blight, that it almost seems like the way that previous administrations have done things is they've started to develop on the outskirts of Warner Robins, and then they leave the north side, and then where City Hall is and where all of our resources are, to become blighted, and it's never made sense to me. But if you could, some of the visions that you have for the city of Warner Robins. I know you're about plug and play for infrastructure and bringing businesses. Talk on that a little bit more in detail about what kind of vision you want to bring to Warner Robins.
Far as with businesses, true enough, we're blessed to have Robins Air Force Base here.
Mhm.
That's great. I always, even when I was serving, and conversations sometimes come up like, what if this base would go away? Thank goodness we have a lot of missions on that base. It's a very important base. But what if? You always got to ask that question, what if? I think Central Georgia will feel it immediately. State of Georgia, of course, and we got to, and try to be proactive. We have to try to think ahead. Like, okay, we got Robins Air Force Base. That's our golden nugget. That's perfect. But can we bring in other businesses that that they are career jobs, like careers, not just a regular job. I mean, these are careers that have benefits that, almost match those who, make their pay on base. You get it off base, just bringing in good jobs here and continue to build this community. Jobs that, people could really say, hey, I could make it, I could make a living on this, and, I could buy this home, or I could invest in community and maybe a small business as well. We know how sometimes it is, having jobs and it don't pay enough and people are stretching. I mean, it's reality, right? But maybe if we brought other jobs in corporations that pay a little bit more, then that could kind of help us out a little bit. And, the city in general would be able to benefit. So that's that little piece there. As I spoke about, downtown development, they're just big. I think we could definitely benefit from that. It's not that far from the base. So when people come, temporary duty assignment, they can bring some of that money in. Other surrounding counties, cities, come in and dump a lot of money into the community. So I think that'd be good as well. Arts and entertainment, I'm big on that. After today's Friday, this is the football hub. We're big with football, but how about during non-football, when football season isn't going on, can we have a concert or play or something where you can take your family and just have a good time after work, instead of saying, okay, let's pack up, let's go to Atlanta, let's get a hotel room, stuff like that. No, you stay right here, and take care of things. So I'd love to see something like that here in Warner Robins as well.
I think you had mentioned an amphitheater, right?
Yes. And with the SPLOST money, I know the Houston County Cultural Center is one of the things that I saw on the SPLOST that they think about bringing here. I would think they're looking at possibly 3,000 seats. I'd like to see it a little bigger, personally, but it'd be good just have different events there all the time, so never a bored evening, especially not on the weekends.
Right.
So yeah, that'd be great. Got to bring that in. Support small businesses. I mean, just about your Amazons, your Apple, everybody start off as a small business. We might have next Steve Jobs here, Jeff Bezos. They're here in Warner Robins. We want to be able to make sure that they plant their seed here, and not just Silicon Valley. Warner Robins will be the home of a lot of big corporations as well. So yeah, I'm speaking of big corporations coming in and big businesses starting here, but also the small ones so they can build up as well. And one of the best ways to do that is tap into our youth, the ones that about to graduate high school or just graduated college, bring them back home so they can invest in this city, their ideas. And this, the city, the region, we all benefit from. We don't need them to be going to Atlanta, Florida, New York, all them places here. No, bring that back here. Yeah. And we benefit that way. So that's another big one. Smart, safe, and clean city. That's pretty much everything. Smart, catch up with times. Right now, yeah, our downtown is 1942, but we try to get it up to 2023 and, be able to use your smartphones when you're downtown and, do a lot of things that, some other cities are able to do. And we just pretty much, we catch up and we get there, Safe, they go with the police. We need a police force. Like I said, bringing in a lot of people, that sometimes increase the risk of things happening, right? So got to make sure our police force is good, that we hire the right people on the force and, people feel safe when they're out and about, also in their communities. So we have to make sure we take care of the police force as well. And then finally, a clean city, like we're saying with Blake, we got to do better. We have to. Whatever we got to do to make sure some of these homes with grass looking bad, all these vehicles that probably leaking oil, transmission fluid, that's hazardous. Get those removed. Whatever legally we have to do. I understand they ain't just how you go do it. Whatever the process is, let's move it along. Also, just jump out in the front yard. No, this is a beautiful city. We're gonna keep it that way. And whatever we need to do to enforce it, we have to do it. Again, sometimes being in city leadership, you're not there really to make everybody happy and smile. You know what I'm saying? You there to make sure you do what needs to be done. Sometimes it's gonna upset some people. So. Prepare for that. And then finally, land infrastructure and fiber. Fiber kind of go in, like I was saying, with smart city and everything. It's just getting us up to date, what we need to do. You know what I'm saying? Infrastructure. Make sure we have the infrastructure to support the city. And the land. We got plenty of land. Like I said, over here on the north side, it's plenty of land that can be developed, set up, new businesses, instead of everything going up on the other side of town. So we need to focus on that as well. So put all that together, when a business looking and say, hey, I want to move to Georgia. Where is a good place in Georgia? Warner Robins, we raise our hand like, hey, we set up, we ready, whatever we can do, kind of make sure, it's a sweet deal for them to come in, but they don't have to wait years for, us to set things up. No, we ready now. Come on, your Amazons, come on, other businesses, Tesla, whoever, I'm using for example, we ready. So those are some things I love to see here in the city. I just see Warner Robins just continue to grow. We catch up with it technology-wise. And our residents here, they just really proud of their city. I'm not saying they aren't now, but, just take to another level with it. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and it makes, it's always made sense to me. It's like, having the Air Force Base here is wonderful because it brings people in from all over the world. It brings talent and culture. And see, I'm not a sports guy. I'm not a football guy. When I first got here to Warner Robins and it was like everything's about football here, I'm like, oh, great. So I've been waiting a long time for something like an amphitheater to serve my needs and interests. So it's like, to me, it makes sense, Ellis, that, I understand that, that Warner Robins, the city, has catered to the base for a long, long time. But it's like, well, that's wonderful. So we have airmen and airwomen coming into our community, and then there's nothing here for them to plant roots for. And we're missing out on a huge opportunity to bring all of this wonderful culture from around the world and around the country into our city. And if we start looking outside of just catering to the base, we might actually give them incentive to stay here,
Yes.
and start their own businesses and build our economy up. So it's like, to me, it's kind of a no-brainer. But anyway, moving on here. There was a part in the House and Home Journal article. Let me see if I can find it here. Where here it is. You said a lot of people lose trust in politicians or people that run for office, but I want citizens to know I'm a man of character, a man of honor, and I'm a man of integrity. My word is my bond, so I just want to be given the opportunity so I can show it and hopefully get trust back into citizens and let them know, hey, some of us really do care and listen to your concerns, is what you said. Now, before you talk on that, for full transparency, I have a pretty good relationship with Madam Mayor. I don't agree with everything that she does, but I feel like she listens. My own city councilman is Larry Curtis. I have a pretty good relationship with him. I feel like his door is open when I have concerns, as well as Derek Mack. And so when I read that part, that was something that really sticks with me. Is do you feel that previous administrations or city council people have had that type of an attitude to where they really truly want to listen to what the people say rather than special interests?
I do think there are some elected officials that really do care and listen to the citizens. So I'm not saying all, but you do have some. They tell you what you want to hear. They get
Mhm,
elected. Maybe that first year they do a little bit,
mhm,
Year 2, 3, whatever, they on cruise control, just chilling. Then
mhm,
year 4, right before the election,
mhm,
they rev back up. That's not fair to the citizens. Once elected, you got to hit the ground running. You
mhm,
know, if I'm elected Tuesday, I'm gonna claim it. After I'm elected Tuesday, celebration, try to let it sink in. But like I said, I'm gonna start right then and there. Some things that I want to address to the current administration, and so once I'm sworn in, follow up on it and try to hit the ground running. I want to be held accountable.
mhm.
Using social media platforms, and like I said, I'm a realtor, so I pass out my card. My number, my private number is out there.
Right,
So I'm a call away. So
right.
I do want to hear the concerns. There may be some things going on that I'm not aware of. So I want to know so I can bring it to the mayor and the councilman, and maybe they're unaware of it as well. But we can
Mhm,
bring it to their attention and address it. No one should feel like they're not heard.
right.
No one should feel like you only get one vote. You know what I'm saying? One vote. Um, these great citizens, they take their time out, go vote for you. The least you can do is do your job. So, and that's what I want to do, to be honest with you. I just want to get in there, showing, hey, um, give me a chance, hold me accountable if I come short. But I plan on just going hard. Everything that I said, that I'm frustrated about, I'm not going to continue to do that and have somebody else frustrated. And
Mhm,
then come 4 years from now, somebody else come, they bump me out of office. But
right.
I just want to make sure, hey, I'm a man of my word. I'm gonna serve character, honor, and integrity. Integrity first that's the one. That's the first Air Force core value. So that's gonna be with me for life. So
Right.
that's it. Just give an opportunity and show people, you really do have elected officials that care.
And like I said, for full transparency, the reason I'm interviewing you is because you reached out to me. Some people in this city like what I have to say and they see my point of view, and then there are some people who don't like what I have to say too much. But you actually did your due diligence, and you reached out to me to introduce yourself and say, hey, I'm running for city council, and which is what struck up this conversation. And that to me is commendable for you to have reached out to me. And if your contender had reached out to me, I would have had an interview with him. But I mean, I think I've made my position. I don't really care for incumbents, Ellis. I go, you got 2 terms, okay? You got 2 terms, go home. If you didn't do it after 2 terms, go home. Be a statesman. Don't be a career politician.
Yes.
And I think that career politicians that is the biggest open doorway for corruption, because they get caught in the milieu of the system that they do disconnect from listening to the people. And it's more about, continuing projects that are personally beneficial or beneficial to whatever the agenda is, rather than to the constituents. So, one of the reasons we're even sitting here is because, again, your integrity. You're like, okay, who's in the community that I could talk to about my candidacy? And you reached out to me, and so for that, I commend you. And again, if your contender would have reached out to me, we would have had this conversation, but he didn't. So anywho, so post two. So let's talk to people who know nothing about the districting and the post. To explain to people what post two is and why it's important.
Okay, so post 2 is at large, it's citywide. I understand why some people are confused about it, because post 3, 4, 5, and 6, they have their own little section. The mayor, post 1, and post 2 are the only 3 at large positions here in Warner Robins, meaning everyone in the city of Warner Robins can vote for those 3 positions. 3 through 6, they have to live in those areas for you to vote for. So I get it why some people are like, well, post 2 is not probably mine. No, post 2 is citywide. So
Okay.
I get, like I said, I can understand why some people get confused, but let them know, hey, post 2 is citywide. Post 1, citywide. Mayor, citywide. So look at post 1 and post 2, similar how you look at the mayor race. Everyone can go out and vote.
All right. So to reiterate for everybody out there, if you are in Wartown, you need to go vote in this election because post 2 is for you. So that means I'm going to be bugging you the entire time that you're a city council member. So I hope you get used to this face because I'm going to hold you accountable. Right? You could be like, oh, God, it's Daniel again. He's talking about the Constitution. Jeez. Nah. Yeah, it is a good thing. So some of the, I skimmed through some of the comments and questions that people had on your Facebook posting. And this is an issue that is obviously it's not a simple one. And anyone who has resided in Wartown for a while has started to notice an uptick in our homeless community. If you could, from your point of view, what are some of the causes of this uptick in homelessness, and what are some of the solutions, some of your perspectives that can help alleviate what's going on in that area in Wartown?
Hey, thanks for the question. Yes, I have noticed, increase with homelessness here in Warner Robins. One of the things, they're human beings, right? Must be treated humane. So while they're here, try to take care of them. See, do we have anywhere we can, put them, especially right now with the weather dropping, But at the same time, we have to ask the question, why? Why we have this increase? What's going on? And to be honest with you, best place to get the answer is from the homeless individual. So try to figure out where they come from. Are they from Warner Robins, or did they come from somewhere else? What led them to get to this point? And hopefully, you'll hear me say this a lot. Are they in the state or federal grants that could help us with this, where we can house them, so the residents here in Warner Robins don't feel like it's all on them, So what can we do? Can we set up programs where we transition them from being homeless to getting jobs and, being out on their own, not just, serving them food and giving them shelter. No, we need to start from beginning to end and try to make sure we take care of them. On that same note, I don't necessarily think this should be the, the hot spot where, other places, just bring their homeless people here. If they like what they see, how we do things here in Warner Robins, we can share our blueprint with them so they could do the same there, I don't think it should just be all open arms. Hey, bring your homeless people here. We do have a capacity. We got to make sure we're able to take care of them. So, but come up with a program, like I said, where we find out what's going on, how they get to that point, and how we can help them get to living in their own home and working. So that'd be the ultimate goal, And that's you got to reach out to churches, schools, and see how we can help them out. But no, I don't think we should just be open arms and bringing in too many. That's just my personal opinion.
Right. And I think whenever, when I have conversations with a lot of the homeless people around town, we have to be sensitive to the fact that a lot of people end up homeless as a result of emotional or mental trauma. I mean, obviously I'm a Joker fan, and the whole theme of the Joker is, everyone can have one bad day. You can be completely financially secure one day and a tragedy hits you, a death in the family, something, a meteorite of an event can hit your life. And as a result, your emotions, your mental, if it's left unchecked, and we don't have a community that is educated about emotional and mental trauma, or the seriousness of addiction recovery, because addiction is a disease, these things, from my point of view, many times result in homelessness. And one of my concerns has been treating people, who are in this position as if they're criminals, rather than with a heart of compassion on how did this person get here, you know. So would you, I would have assumed that you wouldn't be someone who thinks that, like they're doing out west, which is putting spikes underneath bridges and arresting people because that's clearly not the way you would go.
No, like I said, first and foremost, gotta have respect for 'em. I'm not the type of person to look down on anyone, but look how you can help them first. I think sometimes, people go to extreme measures, and try to hurt people in a way, rather than pull them in and just try to help them, that's what we're here for. We're all here, try to help and serve others, no matter how that looks. So that's the same thing, with those who are homeless. How can we help them? And like I said earlier, get them on their feet, not judge them, we shouldn't judge them. So what can we do to help you? And, get them where they set up. And who knows, that person that we just invested time and effort into could possibly help others and, keep it going. They could probably run a center or organization that changed a lot of lives, because we took the time to, get to know them, hear their story, and get them where they need to be. So that's where I'm at. But no, just arrest them because they're under a bridge or they're sleeping here. No, let's get them up, pick them up, get them taken care of.
Right.
That's the best way to put it.
Right. Good. Because, like I said, we've all had one bad day. Now,
yes,
you and I in our private conversation, which you can go in as in depth with this as you want, but kind of dovetailing off of the homeless issue is, I've looked at your service record, and I am aware that you are no stranger to trauma yourself. So if you could speak to that for a moment, and it's my opinion, and you can speak to this also, that you being no stranger to trauma and seeing it, what causes it during the armed forces, that you will have an extremely compassionate ear as a city council member to those in the community, which I represent a huge portion of them, that suffer from things like post-traumatic stress disorder and complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Could you speak on that for a minute, like what your experiences are? And
briefly, yeah, like you said. So, I joined Air Force back in 2002. Pretty much my whole time been, global war on terrorism. It's no longer, service member coming back, just with physical, issues. It's also mental. A lot of things you see, experience, they do weigh on you. Mental health is real, both in military and civilian sector. It's tough, so when people have mental health issues and, some try to open up and talk to you and, sometimes they're quickly judged because of their stigma, myself personally, that's not going to happen. Like I said, I've been to a few places, I've seen some things, and relate firsthand with a lot of my brothers and sisters who also been through things. And sadly, sometimes that's another reason for some going homeless, because some that don't get help, they turn to alcohol and other things and sadly get this. But we could save people if we just, show that we compassionate and we really do care, Dealing with mental health, and it's serious. And a lot of people, unless you dealing with it firsthand, they won't understand. So I want to be that voice for them, and also, let them know I'm able to relate with them with some things. And I think they kind of close, that gap a little bit. And, they're saying, hey, okay, this is someone I can talk to, this is someone I can relate to. I think they can help build a relationship and, help things improve.
Yeah, and it's perfect timing too, because I had to praise City Council and Madam Mayor for last month where they made mental health awareness a huge issue, cancer survivor a huge, because it's important for the stigma of these ailments, these unseen conditions, to really be removed. So that we can facilitate an environment where people who are homeless as a result of this can become productive members of the community, and it starts with them being heard. And first they got to get seen before they can get heard,
Yes.
So I appreciate your experience with that in your background, because it makes me feel more comfortable, somebody who does live with post-traumatic stress disorder and complex post-traumatic stress disorder, to go, I can hit Carter up about this, and we can go from there. All right, that better?
Yes,
All right.
sir.
So, that being the case, I want to move into an area that is one of my pet peeves, one of my things, which we'll try not to get into any trouble here. But like I told you before, I've been a long-standing activist here in Wartown. I started with a website called zeninthecar.com over a decade ago and some change. And one of the issues that we were very, very concerned about whenever we started doing activism here is the violation of, the apparent violation of something called posse comitatus. And what that is, for people who don't know, there will be a link, is in this country, in America, we are not really supposed to have the military policing residents. This is indicative of every empire. It's something that every empire will do before the empire begins to crumble, and it's just not an American philosophy. And we became very concerned, the local activists here in Wartown, over a decade ago, when the administration then, as well as City Council, thought that it would be a good idea to start bringing in things like Linco Bearcats, assault tanks, though, of course, they would call them rescue vehicles. But essentially what we started to see, which was very concerning, was the militarization of the police, or conditioning our local peace officers to think and behave like the military. So without too much commentary, what's your take on the difference between the military and the police, and are you concerned about that, and what kind of comments would you have about that? And we approached City Council and the mayor 10 years ago about this, and we said, hey, we don't think it's such a good idea for us to be getting our peace officers, who we want to keep the peace, thinking, looking, or behaving like the military. So if you could speak to that for a minute, how do you see the distinction between military and peace officers?
I think, in a resident of Warner Robins, you see police officer in a tank or, certain weaponry. It could definitely raise eyebrows and concerns, So I think that is definitely something that need to be looked at. Do we really need that? I think that those funds could definitely be used to improve training, uniforms, other things with our police force, rather than military type machinery.
Mhm.
So I would definitely like to talk with probably police chief, and others, just to kind of get their idea on why, because as a resident here in Warner Robins, if I seen something like that running down the street, I would be kind of concerned, like what's going on, So we never want our residents here to feel threatened or uncomfortable in any type of way. Police officers, they're here to serve, and they do a great job of that. But you could have some thinking that, hey, this is what's going on. Is something going on? A lot of people watch movies and think the worst. So definitely we'll just need to probably have that conversation on why, and could we possibly use those funds for something else. So.
Right. Yeah, I mean, well, I think the first Linco Bearcat, now I don't know how many Linco Bearcats we're paying for, but I think when they first brought it into the city a decade ago, it was $250,000.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's not maintenance or paying the crew that runs it. And now I think we have 3 or more. So I'm not too good with math, but I go, let me think. Do I want to pay peace officers who know this document and uphold this document? Do I want to pay them more? Or do I want to pay them less and pay for military equipment when we're not supposed to be having the military police us? You know, so I guess what my question would be to you is, of course, and I know some people will accuse me anyway of saying, "Oh, he's a defund the police person," which I am. Nobody's even talking about that. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is the proper role of policing in an American a republic, which isn't giving them military equipment. So that's a conversation that you're willing to have with the people and with the chief of police.
Yes.
That hey, maybe we could find better ways to spend money with you guys than that. Good. Thank you. Because that's one of my primary concerns, because I'm a history buff, and I remember whenever this issue came up, we had Councilman Shealy, and we asked him, we said, what do you think would go through a child's mind in Warner Robins that sees a tank rolling down the street? And Councilman Shealy told me, he said, well, I think that the kid would think it's cool. And to me, as a student of history, I'm like, it's a little scary. But
yeah, if they came off the base, yes, I'm just using, but your police force. Again, no one's trying to defund the police. Like I said, we're trying to bring in more money. Make sure they take care of us.
Yeah, and this gets to, of course, and we're winding down here, but this gets to, I think that the best way to keep our police force safe and to keep them armed is to make sure that they do understand this document. And the sad thing is a lot of peace officers don't know this. They really don't read it. I mean, a lot of people who are in government, they pay lip service. They'll raise their right hand and they swear an oath to it, but you can kind of tell by their record, they don't really know what it says. So I know you and I have had the discussion about this document. And what is your position? I mean, I know you've worn your uniform and you swore an oath to this. What is this to you? What does this mean to you, Ellis?
That trump everything else. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's it. As a service member, we raise our hands. We're gonna protect that Constitution no matter what. And of course, citizens of this great nation. But yeah, that trump everything. All the laws at the local, state, federal. Those that'll trump it. It comes from that. So it's very important to have that, and it's, in my opinion, it's no workaround. It's no, okay, let's see how can I find a loophole. No, this is the U.S. Constitution. This is what we're gonna go by.
Right. And so that being the case, and I know that like I said, we had in our private conversations, I know you took that oath very, very seriously.
Yes.
And look, I don't claim to be an expert on it. I know it better than most, and I don't expect others to be an expert on it. What I do expect from public servants is that whenever there's any vote or action, that they first defer to this. And like you said, it is above Georgia law, it is above codes, it is above ordinances. All those things are secondary to this.
Yes.
And so you've given me your word, and I believe that you're a man of your word, that when you get in there, that you're going to vote based off of this, and that's still true. Okay.
That's 100% true.
100% true. Well, that's what people want to hear, because this is a contract between the government and we the people.
Yes.
And it is a real small document, and it says primarily what government can't do, not what it can do. So this should be simple. But like, for example, I don't vote. I'm not going to vote for the incumbent because he's had 2 terms. But just on one thing, you don't have to respond to this because this isn't a mudslinging thing. I'm just I'm telling people what I'm going to do is I don't think that the Constitution restricts how many dogs I can have in the city. And so to me, that's an issue. It means that somebody hasn't read this. It's like I'm free to have more than 2 dogs in the city. So, but that's just me. That's an inside reference. But so that being the case, having sworn an oath to the Constitution, there's going to be times where things come up for you to vote on where if you stand on the Constitution, you're going to be the only one to vote no on something. Is that something that you're willing to do?
Perfectly fine with that, Daniel. I'll be honest with you. The current administration, I don't know anyone on the current administration personally.
Mhm.
I don't support my campaign, nothing like that. So it's not like I got to go in, with loyalty and vote a certain way. No, that Constitution, that's it. Not hey, you vote this way or this is why we do it. No, at the end of the day, got to go back to the blueprint. This is why I'm voting no. If I'm the only one to vote no, I'm perfectly fine with that. I'll be able to sleep at night as long as I know it's done for the right reason. So I have no reason if I be the only one to vote no, and I did it because it was the right reason.
That sounds good, man. So we've been going at this almost an hour. So how can people, I know it's the third today, and I didn't want to get this out right before Election Day, but how can people help you? How can people support your campaign? Tell them all go ahead. Tell them all the places where they can go to find out more about you and where they can go and vote on the 7th.
So you got different precincts. Definitely check your My Voter page, your Georgia My Voter page, because I know a lot of things have changed. So make sure you check that. I'm on social media, Ellis Carter - Warner Robins City Council - post 2. I have a lot of information I'm sharing there. This will also be one of my main communication vehicles once elected. I post a lot of things there and let you all know, hey, some of the things I plan on bringing up to the council every first and third Monday. So, and I want to hear from you. I mean, I don't have anyone working my social media with Facebook. That's me. We talking face to face. Like I say, you got my number. You got me on social media. I want to be able, to have that contact, that relationship with you.
Mhm.
You don't have to go through a third party. So, all my information there. Also, if you want to contact me. So, just want to build that relationship. Again, I'm a resident of Warner Robins. Nothing different. I don't have any special powers. I'm just like everyone else. I just decided to take this big leap and run for office. That's the only thing different.
Yeah.
So
And
that's the only thing. Go ahead.
the other thing, one of the things I also like about you is, at no point in this interview have we raised the issue of party, right?
Oh, no. Yeah.
So that's one of the things I like about you is, and we've discussed this before, which is I believe that local elections like this one are the most important elections in the country. And I think that it is apparent that for a long time, people in Wartown have superimposed national politics and national media onto what's going on here. And that's why I think that it's brilliant that, we had one guy on your Facebook wall. This is the mentality, Ellis. One guy, you opened up the forum to, hey, ask me anything you want to ask. And somebody says, what are you, an R or a D? And I face palm myself because I'm like, that's the problem. That's the problem. And you eloquently let him know you're nonpartisan. So this isn't about this isn't team sports. This is representation, right? Like yeah, which is another reason. That's one of the other reasons that I really like what you got to say. So it's like, dude, I don't live in California. I don't live in New Jersey. I don't care about what's going on in the District of Columbia. I live here, and I want to make sure that my public servants are sensitive to the issues here and not trying to do the red versus blue propaganda. It's irrelevant here. It's only going to damage us here.
And you're right. And that's nothing that, I ask them, if I'm going to help someone, even after elected, I'm not going to ask, hey, your party or also, did you vote for me? If once elected, hey, everybody, 80,000 plus residents here in Warner I represent, So I want to hear everybody's concerns. I don't care if they come up to me, how me and my whole family, voted for my opponent. Good. Glad you exercised your right to vote, but how can I help you now?
Right.
So that's how I look at it. I think sometimes, sometimes people get too caught up in, okay, did you vote for me? Did you donate to my campaign? Or none of that matters, when you try to take care of people. So that's why I'm at. Just want to take care of people, help people the best way I can, and don't know, hey, I really do want to get to that council seat and do some work, not just keep the seat warm. I want to get there and,
Yeah.
some action.
Yeah. And that's why I wanted to meet you and look you in the eye before we went any further, because I wanted to size you up and make sure that that's the case. And I can tell people who are listening and watching that's the case with Ellis, so I wouldn't be talking to him. But Ellis, I appreciate it. Is there anything else that you want to add or think that people need to know before they run out to the polls?
First and foremost, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm grateful for it. I really appreciate it. To my fellow residents here in Warner Robins, just give me an opportunity. Once given an opportunity, man, I'm a word. I'm going to get in and get everything I can. I want to be successful, and I want to hear your concerns and bring them up. So the only way you'll know if I really am going to do that is, if I get elected. And I trust that you all, make the best decision come Tuesday, November the 7th. And I look to earn your vote and push the city forward. I'm ready.
All right, sounds like a plan, man. I like having fresh change, fresh voices, fresh open ears, open eyes. Everything is wonderful. Hold your book up again one more time, man.
Oh, yeah. This is my book. If you do want to get it on Amazon, Keisha, The Strength and Resilience of a Single Mother.
Yeah.
You'll love it. Got some information about me on the back. I got to update it. I just retired, so give me a little time.
All right. And I'll put links. I'll put links to it wherever this is going to go. And next time we have coffee, man, make sure you bring me a signed copy, and I'll bring you a signed copy of my book, and we'll do the little exchange thing. So
I can't wait.
yeah, Ellis, thank you so much, man. Thank you for being a patriot. I look forward. I look forward to going and voting for you, and knowing that my voice will be heard while you're sitting as city council. So thank you so much, and man. I really appreciate what you're doing for this community. Keep it up. You have a lot of support behind you. So thank you so much.
I appreciate what you're doing as well.
Thanks, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks.
Beep, 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 beep. Live from Wellston, Georgia, it's another episode of the Wartown Times. Be sure to stay up to date by joining the Wartown Times Facebook group on the Facebook.